The Packers entered the 2025 season with an insane amount of hype. After acquiring All-Pro edge rusher Micah Parsons from the Cowboys, it seemed like this team would be a Super Bowl favorite. And after starting off the season 9-3-1 with a big win against the Bears, after my first ever game at Lambeau Field, by the way, everything just fell apart for this team. The Denver game in particular was a turning point of the season, as after losing Tucker Kraft early, the Packers losing both Micah Parsons and Zach Tom for the rest of the season would be devastating for the team, as they went on to lose their last 4 games of the season and came to an end in the wild card round against the Bears. But this was still a really solid team that had just too many injuries to too many key players to make a serious run at a championship. And a key but disappointing part of this team was the offensive line and the running game. The offensive line was a disappointment, as regression and injury to that unit really hampered the effectiveness of the Packers' run game that was so dominant in 2024, and in their protection of star quarterback Jordan Love. And today we're going to be grading those players. The grading system is as follows. A is for players that had a surprising season or all-pro level season. B is for players that had a good year or a Pro Bowl level year. C is for average. D is for players that are disappointing. And F is for players that are a complete liability for this team. So let's go ahead and get started. Leader of this offensive group and star running back, Josh Jacobs. After a really strong first season with the Packers, where he had over 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns just on the ground on his way to the Pro Bowl, 2025 was not as good of a year for Josh Jacobs. His effectiveness was way down compared to 2024, as poor blocking by the offensive line, predictable play calling, and injuries limited what he could do. He did get off to a very solid start to the year and was an absolute touchdown machine, having 11 touchdowns in just 9 games to start the year. But in the Week 11 matchup against the Giants, Josh Jacobs suffered a knee injury that would knock him out of that game, as well as Week 12 against the Vikings. And after a couple of solid games back, the knee kept acting up for his final 2 games of the regular season. That saw him being limited as well. He also did not have the best game against the Bears in the wild card round, having just 55 yards on 19 attempts. His best game came in Week 6 against the Bengals, where he had 93 yards rushing, 5 rushing touchdowns, as well as 5 receptions for 57 yards. Overall for his season, Jacobs appeared in 15 games, starting in all 15 of them, having 234 carries, 929 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, a 4.0 yards per carry, 36 receptions, 282 receiving yards, 1 rushing touchdown, and a rush long of 40 yards. PFF gave him an overall grade of 86.1, a rush grade of 82.8, and a receiving grade of 90.0, 47 missed tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and 23 explosive runs. For his season, I'm giving Jacobs a grade of B, as he was still a pretty good running back that just had a bit of a step back compared to his excellent 2024. But hopefully, with improved play along the offensive line, Jacobs can bounce back and have another good year in 2026. Coming into the season, there was a question about the role that Emmanuel Wilson would have in this Packers offense. With Josh Jacobs entrenched as a starter, Chris Brooks in as a third down specialist, and Marshawn Lloyd looking to take over the second string back role, Wilson's future looked a little bleak. But Lloyd, battling injuries all season long, secured his role as the number 2 back, and he, just like in 2024, was really solid in that role. He even made a couple of starts due to the injury of Josh Jacobs, and one of them was his best game of the year, where in Week 12 against the Vikings, he had his first career 100-yard game with 107 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Packers' victory. Overall for his season, Wilson appeared in 17 games, starting in 2 of them, having 125 attempts, 496 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, a 4.0 yard per attempt, 15 receptions, 99 receiving yards, and a rush long of 15. PFF gave him an overall grade of 64, a rushing grade of 74.1, a receiving grade of 37.2, 17 missed tackles, 1 fumble, and 12 explosive runs. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Wilson a grade of B, as he is a very capable backup for this Packers offense. And he is now on the Seattle Seahawks, signing a contract with them, and I wish Wilson the best of luck in his new team. The Packers' third down specialist had yet another solid year as the main pass blocker in the Packers' backfield. Brooks did get a few carries throughout the year, but was mainly used as a receiver out of the backfield and being the Packers' best run-blocking running back. But the main issue with Brooks' game is not with him, but is that when he was on the field, basically everyone knew it was going to be a pass play. Overall for the season, Brooks appeared in 17 games, having 106 rushing yards, 3.9 yards per attempt, 13 receptions on 17 targets, 91 receiving yards, and a rush long of 12 yards. PFF gave him an overall grade of 69.5, a rush grade of 73.6, a receiving grade of 52.6, and a pass blocking grade of 70.8. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Brooks a grade of B-, as he was really good in what his role is, even though it was predictable when he was on the field. He has been brought back to Green Bay on a 2-year contract, so expect us to see more of Chris Brooks on third downs. After signing a big $88 million extension in the offseason, the hope was that Zach Tom would continue his excellent play of the past few seasons. And he did, for the time that he was actually on the field, since he dealt with injuries all year long. His first bout of injury came in week 1, where about halfway through the game with the Lions, he left with an oblique injury that knocked him out in week 2, and only playing 1 snap against the Browns in week 3, which then that caused him to miss week 4 as well. After the week 5 bye, Tom was back and playing really well until the week 15 against the Broncos, where he ended up tearing his patellar tendon, which knocked him out for the rest of the season. Overall for his year, Tom appeared in 12 games, starting in all 12 of them, with PFF giving an overall grade of 83.5, a pass blocking grade of 78.5, a run blocking grade of 81.9, 0 sacks allowed, 1 quarterback hit, 16 pressures allowed, and only 1 penalty called against him. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Tom a grade of B, as he was the best Packers lineman this year while he was healthy. The issue was that he battled with injuries all year long. Hopefully, after a full year of recovery, Tom can continue to be one of the best and most underrated linemen in the whole NFL. Acquired right before the start of the season from the Eagles for a 2027 6th-round pick, Kennard was a very solid swing tackle, meaning he's the first one off the bench in case of injury. He was also used very interestingly in the run game, as he was quite often used as a 6th lineman to get extra help in the game. Kennard also made a couple starts as well, playing in the stead of Zach Tom in week 4 against the Cowboys, and in week 18 against the Vikings as well. But in one of the best moments of the season, while he was brought in as an eligible receiver, Kennard actually caught a pass from Jordan Love, got a first down, fumbled, and then had the fumble recovered by Romeo Doubs against the Bears. Overall for his season, Kennard appeared in 17 games, starting in 2 of them, having a PFF grade of 69.4, a pass blocking grade of 58.6, a run blocking grade of 73.6, allowing 1 sack, 2 QB hits allowed, 11 pressures allowed, and 2 penalties against. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Kennard a grade of C+. As for your 6th offensive lineman, he was a really solid player and was really good in the run game as well. He was so good, in fact, he was brought back for the Packers on a 1-year, $3 million contract, so I look forward to seeing him in the future. After bringing in Aaron Banks in free agency to be the team's starting left guard, the idea was that former Pro Bowl guard Elgton Jenkins would move over to center, and the overall play of the offensive line would improve. But that didn't happen, as Jenkins had one of the worst seasons of his NFL career, and after 9 weeks of pretty subpar play at center, he would suffer a lower leg fracture against the Eagles in week 10 and was out for the rest of the season. Overall, Jenkins appeared in and started in 9 games, having an overall PFF grade of 62.0, a run blocking grade of 60.6, a pass blocking grade of 72.5, 2 sacks allowed, 2 QB hits allowed, 10 pressures allowed, and 4 penalties against him. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Jenkins a grade of D+, as he was not really that good at all when he was on the field and missed over half the season due to his lower leg fracture. As expected, Jenkins was cut from the Packers when the new league year began, but he ended up signing a 2-year, $24 million contract with the Cleveland Browns. I hope Jenkins is able to stay healthy and continues to be a very solid guard in the NFL. Coming into the year, there are some big expectations for the 2024 first-round pick Jordan Morgan. After barely getting a chance to play in his rookie season due to a variety of injuries, Morgan started off the year by being a guard for the Packers, and that didn't go too well for either Morgan or Green Bay as a whole. He struggled in his time as guard, not being good at either pass or run blocking during the first 11 games that he played in. But starting in week 16, he was moved to tackle, where in replacing Zach Tom, Morgan played some of the best ball of his young pro career. He was excellent in the week 17 game against the Ravens, where PFF gave him a pass blocking grade of 83.6 and a run blocking grade of 74.5. Morgan was also good in the postseason game as well, where PFF graded him pretty highly too. Overall for his season, Morgan played in 17 games, starting in 12 of them, having an overall PFF grade of 59.0, a pass blocking grade of 64.3, a run blocking grade of 57.3, 4 sacks allowed, 2 QB hits allowed, 10 pressures allowed, and 5 penalties called against him. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Morgan a grade of C, as though his year got off to a rough start while he was at guard. The moment he switched over to tackle, his play drastically improved. I am so excited to see what his 2026 season will hold, as with Rasheed Walker leaving a free agency, Morgan will take over at left tackle, and I expect him to be really, really good. A surprising pick in the second round, the Packers took the hulking offensive tackle Anthony Belton out of NC State, with the idea of turning him into a run-blocking guard to be ready for the 2026 season. But with all of the injuries the Packers had to this offensive line, Belton was pressed into action way sooner than was planned, and as was expected for such a raw prospect, Belton really struggled in his rookie season, especially as a pass blocker. He let up a ton of pressure when the Packers tried to pass, which led to the offense to be a lot less efficient when he was on the field. Overall, for his 2025 season, Belton appeared in 14 games, starting in 7 of them, having a PFF overall grade of 50.0, a pass blocking grade of 44.2, a run blocking grade of 51.9, no sacks allowed, 2 QB hits allowed, 23 pressures allowed, and 2 penalties against him. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Belton a grade of D+, as he really struggled his rookie year, as he could not pass block at all and struggled in the run game as well. But I do believe with some more time, Belton will improve and challenge for one of the starting guard spots in 2026. What a frustrating season it was for the former 7th round pick Rasheed Walker, and a pivotal season for his career, as he will be a free agent following the 2025 season. He just turned in yet another average season for the Packers, not really improving in any aspects, and in fact got worse as the season went on. He struggled yet again with run blocking and was one of the most penalized tackles in all of football. And in his final game with the Packers against the Bears in the wildcard run, he got his butt beat and had one of the worst games of his career. Overall, for his 2025 season, Walker appeared in 17 games, starting in 16 of them, having an overall PFF grade of 64.6, a pass blocking grade of 70.0, a run blocking grade of 55.4, 5 sacks allowed, 1 QB hit allowed, 34 pressures allowed, and 9 penalties against him. And for his season, I'm giving him a grade of C, as he just did not improve at all as a pass blocker and just was not great for this Packers offensive line. He is no longer on the Packers as he signed a 1-year, $10 million contract with the Carolina Panthers. The biggest surprise of the offseason was when the Packers signed former 49ers guard Aaron Banks to a 4-year, $77 million contract. And it was surprising because for his career, Banks has been a pretty average to below average starting guard, and the Packers then decided to pay top market dollar for him to be on the team. And Banks definitely did not live up to his contract, as he spent part of the year injured and when he was on the field, which is more of the same average guard. Overall, for his 2025 season, Banks appeared in 15 games, starting in 14 of them, having a PFF overall grade of 53.0, a pass blocking grade of 54.6, a run blocking grade of 50.8, allowed 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, 28 pressures, and had 4 penalties against him. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Banks a grade of C-, as he was just wholly a pretty big disappointment, especially considering the massive contract the Packers gave him. Hopefully, he can come back a bit more healthy in 2026 and just be average. If not, this will go down as one of the worst contracts in Packers history. What a rough season it was for the former 3rd round pick out of UCLA. Initially winning the starting right guard spot for the Packers, Ryan had a rough first 4 weeks of the season as he struggled heavily as a pass blocker and had 3 total penalties against him in those games. That led to him being benched in favor of Anthony Belton, but he still played significant snaps over the next couple of games, stepping in for injuries. But after Elgton Jenkins sustained a fracture in the game against the Eagles, Ryan took over for the starting center for the Packers for the rest of the season. And it did not go well for him at all, really, as he routinely was one of the worst centers in the NFL, especially in the pass blocking area. But I will say, he did have a pretty solid postseason game in the last couple games of the year as he got more familiar with the center position. Overall, for his final 25 season, Ryan appeared in 17 games, starting in 11 of them, having an overall PFF grade of 59.0, a run blocking grade of 66.7, a pass blocking grade of 38.5, allowed 1 sack, 8 quarterback hits, 27 pressures, and 5 penalties against him. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Ryan a grade of D+, as he wasn't really that good for the Packers when he was in the lineup. But Green Bay has a ton of faith that he will be a better center next year, as they signed him to a 3-year, $33 million contract extension to be the starting center in 2026. That is all for today's video, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. Next up, we're going to go through the pass rushers and linebackers, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.